I'm David Bradley, and I'm directing the three pieces of this great event.
Awesome. So, what 2 weeks in, or at the end of our second week of rehearsal, and going up in another 2 weeks or less, can you tell us a little bit about what is happening, like a little more than halfway through a rehearsal production process?
We're in the thick middle. Actors have been through the material. We're going back into some scenes. So often in the first time through, actors have pages in their hands. Now the pages are gone away, and we're discovering how to be very specific with the words, so that we're not just getting a general idea of the scene, but we're really finding each moment more and more specifically, which means then the relationships get deeper, which means then we're discovering what really happens to these characters. A discovery we made yesterday with Jonah was, this is a kid who's been kind of the good, perfect kid all his life, and part of that maybe is because he's had some things about himself that he didn't feel comfortable with and maybe felt wrong about, and so you compensate by trying to be perfect every other way. And that was something that came up as we worked on the scene with his sister. Playwrights are also making revisions, and so we're discovering things in rehearsal and sending questions via email to the writers and having conversations. At 10:30 last night, I got a revision for the final paragraph of Kaya S. Johnson's monologue, FAT, with the character making a stronger, clearer new choice. And that's great, because that came out of what we discovered in rehearsal, and then she took that information, and then we get to now try that out and let her know how it went. Emily and Acker, who's in Chicago, and I are on email back and forth, and I'll send her things. Hey, we tried this in rehearsal. What do you think? Does that work? She sends me things back. So it's in the going deeper, making the changes we need, and discovering what really makes these things coherent.
Well, this part of the process can be at once the most frustrating and the most exhilarating part, because when you initially get together with this group of people and you do your initial readings and your first rehearsals, it's very exciting and everyone feels very close to the part. And I have done this monologue on 2 separate occasions already, and Amy has gone through a number of rewrites ever since last year. So it's like doing a new piece all over again. But then at this part, it's very hard, because you want to do the best job you can. And, you're constantly analyzing every word, every line, every movement, every action, combining an emotional element with memorization of lines, with blocking, which means how do you move around the stage within the set? Where do you go on each beat, like each moment or transition within the monologue? And so in creating this kind of like mini play that is the monologue, you start sometimes overthinking things, or getting sidetracked from something that you knew you had before. So now it's at that point where I have to remember to stay true to the words and stay simple and really get in touch with who this character is, which is a 16-year-old girl who's afraid of disappointing her parents, but also very much in love. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's an exciting process, but like any process, whether it's creating a science experiment or building a rocket in shop class, I think there's a point where you're like, oh, I can't get this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And you just got to trust your director to guide you in the right way, and trust yourself, and trust the playwright that she's given you this beautiful piece that will live and breathe on stage.